engineers who are transitioning to a leadership role. And I must say that I got really great responses. Some people said they couldn't do it on LinkedIn, they wanted my email address and they sent me pages of information because I guess they've been walking around with this knowledge in their head for a long time. So I'm very grateful. It was interesting because when I looked at all the responses, I saw a pattern emerging. And in this pattern, it really dovetailed a lot into my information as an organizational development practitioner. And it really dovetailed into some of my observations as I worked with engineers throughout my career. I would say that engineers are brilliant. I mean, these men and women who I worked with on various plants, they were very interested in what they did. They almost had extremely high focus and almost tunnel vision. And they always wanted to do the best that they could do. So in a lot of organizations, because we haven't figured out exactly what to do with these brilliant people when they do well, we promote them into management. We promote them into management because that's the only way organizations have figured out just yet how to give them the benefits that they deserve. And somehow, over the years, I've looked at A-class engineers struggle to become A-class managers or leaders. And the question I ask is leadership the engineer's kryptonite? So when I collated all the data that I got, I saw three things coming up as a challenge, which I'll present on today and also give you the remedies, both from your colleagues and peers around the world. So the three challenges that engineers face would be, I'm going to reframe it in terms of my language, would be one, the leadership style, two, what we call the thingification of the organization, and three, the understanding of the field in which they operate. So let's look at leadership styles. When an engineer is promoted into this management or leadership role, I'll use the two words interchangeably. He walks with all of who he is. And what he is somebody who fixes things. He's a problem solver, and he has a lot of knowledge in his head. So when he goes to lead a team, what he does is he tells that team a lot of times exactly what to do. He has 20 years of experience, so when he sees something broken, he knows exactly how to fix it. And what we call those people are heroes. They may not be wearing tights, but they have an S on their chest, and they always save the day. And if you ever saw a movie with Superman, you would know that there are fire wardens on the ground, there are firemen on the ground, the building is burning, and Superman doesn't wait for the firemen to do their job. He swoops in and he saves the day. And that's exactly how those leaders behave. So what happens is that the team suffers because the team doesn't get the benefit of making errors, the benefits of failure, which we all know is a learning tool. What happens is that they don't get the ability to develop themselves as engineers. Because when these managers stand, they stand with their backs against the sun, casting a long shadow on the organization and on their team. They want their team members to be as smart as they are, not possible because you are you and you would have had all your experience. And they want their team members to respond to problems the same way that they do. Again, not possible. So what happens is that there's a lot of tension that is set up in some of those teams, where it is that I know my manager is really smart, I really appreciate him as a great engineer, and he's not allowing me to develop myself. And so with that comes what we call paternalistic behavior. And paternalistic behavior really means that father knows best, I'm in charge, my way or the highway. And if you don't know whether you're paternalistic or not, I'll just throw out some phrases for you. If you ever say, after all I did for them, maybe you're paternalistic. If you ever call people ungrateful or consider them selfish in terms of the organization environment, maybe, just maybe, you may be paternalistic. And what are the remedies that we have for those behaviors? So we say, instead of being a hero, consider yourself a host as a leader. If you ever threw a great party, not a bus party, a great party, you would know that for people to come and have a good time, there are a few things that you do as a host. You consider your guest list carefully. You want people who would come and have a good time and probably people who talk to each other in a particular way. You want people who probably behave in a particular way. You think about what they want to eat, whether they have allergies or maybe they have religious restrictions on particular foods. And when people actually come to your house, you try to make them comfortable. And how you do that, you help them network. You help people who want to stand in the corner, you bring them into a little line and say, yo, this is Maxine, treat her well and you leave and you just make sure everything happens. And that is the way that we require people to be as leaders. We want people who will host us in the organizations, provide us with support, and help us network. We also want people who will shine, remove themselves from the limelight and allow some light to fall on us. And don't worry that when you put your team members in the limelight that they will steal your thunder. They won't. Because for everybody on your team who wins, you also win. Whenever a team member wins, you win. So consider if you have 10 team members and each of them has a win, you look like, you will then be a hero, because guess what? You get 10 wins. Of course, the paternalistic attitude, what we talk about is that we want an organization to build adult-adult relationships. We need to honor that these people who work with us as our team members are adults. They fix problems every day in their houses. They balance budgets. They see about aging parents. They see about children. They plan wonderful things on shoestring budgets. And we need to recognize that there is power in that. And one of our challenges as managers, how do we tap into that innate creativity that they have on a daily basis to bring it into the organization? And I would suggest that maybe that is one of the ways in which we will get sustainability. The other thing that I'll speak about now is what we call the thingification of the organization. And for many years, social scientists also believed that they also refer to an organization as a thing. You know, it has a characteristic, it has a culture. And what we're finding now with the organizational development is that an organization is not a thing. An organization is made up of humans, and what the humans are doing is that they're interacting with each other and interrelating with each other, communicate through communication along demarcations that are set in the organization. So those demarcations will be your department, your function, your process, however it is that your organization is structured. And this places a particular challenge for a technical person, because what you're accustomed dealing to is something that's very predictable. There's a piece of equipment, you know exactly how it works. You know the parts that go into it, and you can almost predict with maybe 99% predictability what will happen. Well, if you ever work with people and you ever try to lead people, you know that the prediction rates fall drastically. So people are not predictable, and many engineers confess to me that what they've tried to do is fix people. Because when they get in and they realize that their team is not where they are, they try to fix them. And we can't fix people, right? That's why you have therapists and all those people. But our job really is to find what inspires that person. So the remedies against thingification is really about knowing the individuals who are on your team, identifying what motivates each individual, and it is different for each individual, and for some people it's different for them on each day, but that's one of our challenges leadership, as leaders. And one of the things that we always talk about in leadership is about how people resist change, and people resist change because it's very simple, it's not a thing. I could take a chair and move it anywhere in this room because a chair is a thing. But if I were to say to everybody here, pick up your chair, some people will pick it up and some people say, what is wrong with her? I'm dressed, I didn't come to move chairs. And that is always the problem we have with leadership because we're dealing with people. So I'll just talk a little bit more about the third piece, which really is about understanding the field that we're in. And this really relates to what we call systems theory. And systems theory is real simple in that what it says is that each of us at any point in time is a member of many systems. Just think of anything that is a system. So for me, I am Maxine Atom, and I am part of a family system, which is the atoms. I cleave to a larger system, which is a Ferrier system, which is my mother's maiden name. And part of our community, even though I don't live there, is Guayabuyari, which is south of Trinidad. And beyond Guayabuyari, we're part of what you call rural communities. So we have certain characteristics that rural people have. But even within that, we are part of Trinidad and Tobago, which is part of the Caribbean, which is part of the wider world. So I will just do a little mapping for a person who's an engineering manager. So engineering manager is a person who is part of an engineering team, yes. And then he or she is part of a management team. And then you're part of an organization, which is part of an industry, which is part of all business industries in Trinidad, Greater Trinidad and Tobago, Greater Caribbean, Greater World. And why this is important for people who are in leadership positions, because it means that when you enter into management, you start to bump up against those different systems that you operate within. So when I worked in the oil and gas industry, it was very interesting working with engineers, because there would always be a difference of opinion when it comes to replacing equipment. The engineers would go and they would research, fantastic research, they would have volumes of paper, and they would come to you and say, Maxine, this is what we want to buy, because they've done the research, this is the best, it's actually the newest technology, and all the flags and whistles. And as an accountant, I have three questions. What is the budget, right? Because I really want to keep within budget. My variance must be very small, and my budget includes the landed cost and the installation cost. Then I would say, what is the return on investment, and what is the payback period? So if you show me 4 pieces of equipment that could give me 85%, 95% optimal production, the one I want is the one that A is in budget, the one B that has the lowest payback period, and C, the one that has the highest return on investment. So that's always a dialogue that happens, and because you're now a part of that management team, the expectation is that you are part of that dialogue and you understand how that dialogue runs. It doesn't run along the lines of best technology, it runs along the line of what is best for our business. And that situation is replicated in different ways when you deal with other managers. And of course, there's the things that you don't see in the organization. So those of us who have worked with multinationals know that something happens in China and decisions are made in the local market which have nothing to do with anything that we consider our business. So the challenge for us as leaders will always be understanding the field in which we operate. And that the field that we operate in is not just what we could see, but those hidden figures basically, which may not even be in Trinidad because the impacts are so big. So it also means, what are the remedies for you around that? It means that, yes, I know Popular Mechanics, everybody reads it, and probably you could introduce some other things, but we'll share some of the information in terms of management theories or leadership in terms of what's current. It also means that our networking needs to be different. So while it is that we are part of this association, who else are you networking with? Internally to your organization as well as externally to your organization. Who are you mentoring to come into your profession, and how are you mentoring them? And you yourself, who is mentoring you as you make that transition from technical person to a leadership position? So that basically is in terms of the feedback that I would have received. And one of the things I'd like to issue a challenge to you today is just to think a little bit about, and your president mentioned, in terms of your leadership. Because I think there are lots and lots of books on leadership. I mean, I wrote one as well. But the point about leadership is really, for me, it's a very personal thing. Because I could never lead like Jack Welch. I'm not a white male. I'm not American. I belong to this system, and I understand this system. And I bring with me all the good and bad stuff of my personal life to this system. To be a good leader, I need to be able to make a distinction between what is my personal stuff and my professional stuff. Because lo and behold, wherever you go, you carry all of who you are. So if you have some personal stuff to clean up, I would suggest that you start working on it to clean it up, to be a better leader. The other thing I know for sure is that we can make changes every day to our life. So even if you have a rotten relationship with your team, even if you're the best leader, you can always be better once you make that decision on how you want to go. So the questions for you is, how do you want to lead? What is your stance as a leader? What do you believe yourself to be as a leader? And as we spoke about systems, I spoke about systems in terms of how they impact us coming into the organization. And I want to suggest that we are in an equally powerful place to have ripples out of the organization. If you're a leader, you have a team of people, it might be 2, it might be 200. Those are people who you impact on a daily basis. Those people go home and they have families. Your leadership can also impact on their families. It can also redound to their communities and to Trinidad and Tobago. And we know that at this point in time, in terms of all the stuff that is happening in Trinidad and Tobago, all the negative things that are happening, more so than ever, each one of us who are in these type of professions, who are professionals, who have office jobs, who think highly of ourselves and are engaged with other intelligent individuals, we know that this is a time for us to be leaders. Lead your teams, because each of those people, they really make an impact on their family. you have the opportunity to change that. Each of those families live in a community. It may be a community under distress, but our leadership can change that. You don't have to go into their areas, but by the way you treat your people who you're leading, it will impact upon them. Because no man is an island, and system theories shows that we have a ripple effect. And when your president was speaking today, he spoke about the contributions that engineers have made to this wider society of Trinidad and Tobago through their work, through their talent, their intelligence, their technical skills. And I'm asking you to add to that pool of qualities your leadership. Because if ever we needed it now. So thanks a lot.